I know in the American society, people get placed into certain financial classes. There's poor, there's lower middle class, there's upper middle class, there's rich. How did you grow up financially?
Lower middle class. It's crazy because it's like I said, I grew up in the county. In the county area, I mean, you know, there's Section 8 in the county. I didn't live in Section 8. I grew up, I had, you know, I had a father, I had a mother. Same household till I was about in the 8th grade. There was lower middle class. My mother, she didn't really make too much. My father made good money. My father, he still to this day, he makes good money. I grew up, I went to 2 public schools, and then my mother pretty much, like I tried to get a basketball scholarship to this private school. And I remember the coach at the private school always saying like, yeah, when your son grows, you know, I want to bring him here, I want to bring him here. So I was always set on going to this private school. And the coach ended up dying. He ended up getting cancer. He ended up dying. So I told my mother that's where I want to go. My father didn't want to send me there because you had to pay for it. My mother did. And it was like, I want to say, the tuition was probably, the first year was like $4,000 a year. I didn't know how I was getting paid for, but, you know, eventually I found out that, you know, my mother was on some type of financial type of plan where, you know, she struggled to pay that. Like, it was crazy. Like, the way she struggled to pay that, like, they wanted to pull me out of class so many times. I didn't even know that all of this was going on until I got older, but they wanted to pull me out of class so many times because my mother couldn't afford to send me there. And I remember, and my father didn't really want to help with it because he told her from the beginning, you know, I didn't want to send him there. And he's just like me, you know, I'm the same way now, you know, so, and then I ended up getting kicked out anyway because I had a rap book, and, you know, the nuns and stuff, they didn't like that. You know, I was cussing in the rap book, and I was wanting to be a rapper, so they ended up trying to expel me, so I just ended up leaving the school anyway. But I went back to graduate.
So what grade was it when you attended that school at first?
Ninth grade, 9th and the 10th grade is when I went, and then I got in trouble. My 10th grade year is when I got in trouble with the rap book thing and me chasing teachers down the hall because they wasn't trying to pass me to play basketball. And I ended up going to this school called Milford Mill. And I'm glad though, like everything works out, because when I ended up going to Milford Mill is when I started taking this production class, music production class. And that's when I met like one of my closest friends, just like my brother as well. And my best friend also went there, and we had this beat making group, and that's when we started. So if I'd have never went to Milford, you know, who would have known where I would be at in music?
Sorry, I'm writing down some notes as you speak so I can reference them in the interview. But you were expelled.
No, they tried to expel me. So they suspended me for 2 weeks, and then I had an expulsion hearing where I had to go before a board, a committee, and then the committee basically just decided whether or not they were going to expel me or not. My mother attended that expulsion hearing, and, you know, she pretty much got in their asses about, you know, everything that they was trying to expel me for. And, you know, they really didn't have no reason. I had a rap book. I was cussing in my rap book. I was talking about beating people up, stuff like that. Like, and I was a class clown. But, you know, my teachers loved me. You know, the students, they all loved me. I was very outgoing. So, but once they did that, it was just like, I'm not trying to come back to that because I feel like y'all looking at me like I'm a nigga anyway. So I ended up leaving. But once they changed the whole staff and everything, I ended up coming back. I really wanted to play basketball. So that was a school that I wanted to do it at because it was a big school for basketball.
So you don't get expelled, but you end up leaving anyways.
Yeah.
And how was that book discovered in the first place?
I left it on my desk. I mean, I ended up leaving it on my desk, and I left out the room, and I was like, oh, I was in another class. I was like, yo, I gotta read my book. And when I went to read my book, it was this teacher, and she hated me. Like, she gave me a 69 when she knew I needed a 70 to play basketball. Like, it was one of those type of teachers. So she saw it, and I was like, yo, you got my book? And she was like, yep. And I'm sending it to the principal, and I know what's in there and all this other stuff. So I'm like, man. And I like kind of wowed her, and that's when they suspended me for those 2 weeks.
Did you know that this could lead to a suspension, a book of this magnitude?
Yeah, because I was wilding in the book. So I knew that if they opened it and read it, they could be like, yo, this kid got some problems. He's a nut. So.
I mean, shoe looking on the other foot. Okay, as a kid, I understand how you feel.
Right.
But shoe looking on the other foot. Let's say you were an adult and you see a kid with a rap book with these same exact lyrics. Would you feel any different than how those teachers felt? Do you think like
coming from those teachers' backgrounds is different because they ain't from where we from, so it's like it's a little different. You know what I mean? Like you got this lady, I don't even know what she was. She was my Spanish teacher, but she, you know, she ain't used to that type of stuff. You know, my principals and all of that, they ain't used to that type of stuff. So if, you know, I'm in their foot and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this little nigga crazy. You know what I mean? So.
Because the thing about rap is, when people create lyrics, some of them are true to the T. They try to be as truthful. And so if they say they're going to do something or they've done something, they've actually done it. And then some, it's a fantasy. You know, I'll do this when I see them, but they're really not in real life. So just curious how you look at something like that. Or, you know, if she was on the other foot, you would look at something like that.
I mean, if I was a teacher coming from where I came from, and I found a book like that, of course I'm not overreacting like that. I talk to the student, you know, just to get close, personal, to see, you know, what's going on in their life. But I'm not, yo, I'm about to suspend you, because that's clearly an outlet. Just like having a journal or something like that. Like little white girls be writing in their journals and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's personal to them. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing, like I was kind of trying, the thing with journals is it's the same kind of similar concept, right? Some people will put stuff that they might have like I don't want to say a hit list or a kill list or something.
But it's crazy though, because it's like, put it this way.
And these are different times.
I mean, it's
now
not
than
like,
it was when you were
but it's not like I was in there talking about I'm gonna shoot up the school, nothing like, because that's different. Like if I'm talking about I'm about to shoot up the school, I'm about to shoot up my teachers, then, you know, that's different. I wasn't talking crazy like that. Like it was just about, you know, shit that I was going through, you know, as a kid, just growing up in a home, my parents about to get a divorce, you know, we ain't got no money, you know, that type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no, yo, I'm about to beat this teacher up after school type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference if you got these little white kids talking about, yo, I'm gonna shoot up the whole school because I'm being bullied. That's a problem, you know what I mean? And that's gotta be addressed, but it wasn't. My rap book wasn't nothing like that. They just, you know, they seen a nigga, you know, rapping and just, they caught him off guard.
What was the beat making group called?
When we first started out, it was called Sound Brigade, and then we merged together and we called ourselves Misfit Sounds.
And why'd you guys break up?
It wasn't even necessarily a breakup type of thing. It was like, it was one of those things where I pursued it. Like I took that risk, I left. I went to LA in 2011 and everybody else stayed in Baltimore, you know, but we still connected, we still work together, we still get placements together, but it just wasn't a group. Everything, you know, life moved on for people, you know. I really pursued it heavy to where as though it's a profession now, you know. The other guys, they do it maybe in their spare time. One of them has an actual job and still pursues it heavily, but, you know, just everybody had different lives, different paths.
Did you actually create this group originally? Like, were you the one that spearheaded it, or you were just a part of it? So
Sound Brigade was like me and like one of my best friends. We created that together, and then Misfit Sounds was created by my best friend December Moon, and I was just a part of the group.
Now you were rapping and producing at that same time, or had you given up rap and just focusing on the producing?
I was rapping, singing, and producing and writing. I was doing it all.